Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. That, of course, was our health and medicine segment, which, of course, was talking about psychiatric problems, very, very serious condition, of course. And now we are back in the studio with our next guest, who is joining us here, Mr. Ayman al Masri, who's the Chief Executive Officer. And he's going to be talking to us about starting a business project. So welcome, Mr. Al Masri. How are you doing this morning?
Good, thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to start us off with, how do we start a business project? If we wanted to start a business project, what would we do?
Well,
how do we go about it?
Well, first of all, it all starts with an idea, concept generation. And you want to make sure that the idea is viable and it works in the culture and in the market. So you want to make sure that you do your research. It's all about research. Whether you're launching a new service or a new product, and you really want to know how are you going to brand it. It all stands on branding. That's the question. Because let's face it, we lived in a cluttered economy, in a digital world where you can buy everything offline and online. And how are you going to compete with all these products? It's impossible. And it's how you stand out. It's the it's the point of difference, the POD. You know, what is your POD? What's your pod, that, like they say? And that you need to work on the positioning style. What does your brand stand for? Does it stand for a lifestyle? Does it stand for indulgence? Nowadays, such as ice cream, cupcakes, gum, they all used to be functional 10 years ago, or even 15 years ago. I used to, we used to chew a gum just because we wanted a better breath, a refreshing breath. Cupcakes were not that, were not that huge in the market, but people used to call it cake in a glass. And it was just a way of eating desserts. But now it's become so glamorous. It's glamorous to eat a cupcake. It's glamorous. It's after a hard day of work. You wanna chill on a nice ice cream. So these products have become from functional to indulgence. So we need to understand that market trend, and which is not so much as a trend, but it's an attitude. And we need to do our market studies and know what kind of product or service are you launching in the market. So you need to have a great business plan, have mentors around you, positive people. For me, myself, it's Sheikh Fahd Abunayan is my mentor. My mentor, friend, partner, brother. When I'm down, he gets me back up, taps me on the back, get up, you've got some work to do, My father, Ayman al Masri, he's a great mentor for me. He's a great advisor, great philanthropist, and I make sure that these two people are around me every single day in my life, because without them, you can never do anything alone in life. You need people around you. It's a triangle. It's a team of three. Myself, Fahd Abunayan, and my father. So that's how it is on a day-to-day basis. It's a challenge.
So you definitely would advise that we should have mentors and advisors.
So
you shouldn't go into it on your own.
Oh no.
Definitely not.
Well, maybe financially, yeah. You could have 100% of the company.
And as you say, you should have a good business plan as well.
Yeah, you should have a good business plan, and make sure you do your research. Marketing. We lived, as I said, we lived in a cluttered economy. There's nothing that you can't find offline and online. How are you going to be so different? Why am I going to buy your product?
Exactly.
Why is that? How are you so different with it in terms of packaging, identity? Nowadays, we understand, in the Arab world in general, we understand trademark, we understand logo, but we don't understand brand identity and what does it stand for. You know what I mean? And there's so many brands that stand for a certain benefit. You buy something because you feel prestigious. You buy something because you feel like a champion. So therefore, there's a certain benefit, or what I can say is a brand characteristic, and that's what you need to delve into about a product. It's not about I'm not buying a product at the end of the day. I'm buying a brand.
Definitely, Mr. Ayman. I think also on the marketing section, Ayman, You seem like a guy who knows how to speak, knows how to approach.
And PR is important. I think communication skills is important. You got, at the end of the day, you got to sell. Whether you're a CEO or whether you're a, a graphic designer, you've got to sell at the end of the day. And if you can't sell, good luck.
Exactly. But let me go also into the towards my question also. You mentioned that PR is definitely a very important point, especially in business, I think also.
Yes.
And when you're speaking about, for example, making a business or starting a new business, I think you always need to first of all to think about how much money you're willing to invest. You mentioned also what are you going to invest in, for example, foods, for example, what sort of products,
FMCG products.
FMCGs, exactly. Franchise names, big names, franchise names.
Correct.
Whether it was in restaurants, and of course in clothing, different products in general also. Do you think that a person, for example, at the mid of his business start, let me say, because you already mentioned the start of the business, at the mid of your business, for example, approach big brand names currently to be invested in the Arab world, in the kingdom in Pacific, I think also. The kingdom, as you know, it's one of the countries which is very stable, first of all, politically and definitely economic on the same side. Do you advise, for example, your clients, or I think you may call them your clients, to invest in big franchise names currently, for example, and also the products, or do you think it's always a high risk to show, for example, the community or the people different style or different names?
Well, I think Saudi Arabia, let's start with Saudi Arabia. I think it's a great country to do business. First of all, it holds 25% of the world's oil reserves, so that we know. There are women, if you didn't know, women hold 42 billion riyals ready to be invested, 100 billion riyals reserved in banks, according to Princess Adla bin Abdullah bin Abdulaziz. So therefore, there is a huge opportunity. So this we know. It's the fourth in tax reformation and tax forms. It's the fourth in the world. It's number one in oil prices in terms of affordability to start any investment project.
Stability.
So that's perfect. So we got that. Second, in terms of franchisees, right? In the mid-cycle of the brand. Let's speak about Saudiization. My dear friend Ibrahim Ashimimri, he mentioned to me many times that Saudiization is not all about it's not all about a recruitment process. There are brands here that spend about 60% of their expenses and costs to local manufacturers in Saudi Arabia. Did you know that international franchisees in Saudi Arabia spend about 95 halala per 1 riyal you spend overseas? That's because the franchisee kit that they receive demands them to do so, demands to spend at manufacturers overseas that cater to the entire worldwide franchisees. So therefore, international franchisees or international brand names that you see here, they're all around the place, spend about that much, 95 halas per 1 riyal you spend. So therefore, we encourage, so that's why we need to brand. Saudi companies and Saudi products, I'd love to see dates really nicely packaged with a nice brand identity. Come on, who's better to do dates than Saudi Arabia?
Imported overseas, you mean?
I'd love to see such a brand or such a product, very well branded, and exported. You know what I mean?
Why is it not done then? Or what do you think is the issue?
The issue, that's it. Excellent question. The issue is branding. The issue is that, okay, I can export that. You think they can export? Yeah, they could. But the problem is that it's the education and development in the branding mechanism. Branding, what does branding do? Why brand? Is it just about just a good design? No. The design makes you feel something. Either you make it look cool, trendy, hip, prestigious. You really got to understand the market, the customer's voices. It's not about the CEO. It's not about the owner. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the market. And sometimes they come, CEOs come to you and tell you, listen, I have a brand. It's been here for 100 years. I make for 147 million riyals. Who are you to come and tell me, I need to change my brand name and my brand design? Well, okay, but listen, you're looking at how did you generate such profit margins? Because of a certain target market, which is and you're overlooking, you're not looking at a market that is very brand sensitive, which is the market, class market A, class market B. They're very sensitive, brand sensitive. So these brands are generating such profit margins, but from a certain market. You can't develop a product for everyone. You can develop a product for someone, and that someone will tell everyone. It's not your job to tell everyone, and that's what a winning brand strategy is. But here's the other way around. The thing is, the problem is, to your question, is that branding and complacency. They're sitting on the board. They're complacent. They're making that 147 million, and I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm all right. They don't look for further. They don't look to expand, to grow.
Mr. Ayman, allow me to also, there we have investors there who don't stop. I mean, I give you just easily an easy name. I think anyone will bring also. For example, Prince Ali bin Talal,
yes,
one of the very strongest investors, also
and a great brand.
Exactly,
a personal brand. Himself is a brand, and I have a book from him.
Exactly, a guy who's just willing to go further and further and further. Even if he reach, I think, to the top at number one, he will still go further.
Allow me to say, he's an exception. He's a great brand.
I can give you many other big names,
yes,
but it is actually an issue, especially dates. I can give you big names, big investor, big Saudi local investors also, who are willing also to face such cases. But also, my question to you is, sir, also, for example, when we're speaking or mentioning, for example, to the clients regarding what to invest in the kingdom, I think now technology is punching strongly also into the Saudi markets.
Yes.
And actually, I think with success, I think you would know you would know more than me, of course. Tell us about it. Do you aim towards the technology? Do you say to your clients, okay, technology is definitely a big success, aim forward, for example, telecommunication, smartphones, PCs?
A good brand is a good brand at the end of the day. A good brand is highly profitable, whether it's technology, automotive, petrochemicals, consultancy, IT. So no, I keep a wide range of portfolios. I don't narrow my focus. And there's no statistics that says, oh no, just invest in such industry. It is actually the trend and lifestyle that we're living nowadays, which is the era of digital age that the Arab world is living right now. Look at the rise of the e-commerce. The e-commerce, everyone's buying online through their iPads, their iPhone, whether it's clothes, shoes, technology. It's because we're living in this era, but it doesn't mean it's a profitable era. It's a struggle. It's a struggle to make people aware, to educate them about that we have a secure online system. And don't forget, especially in Saudi Arabia, when you want people to buy online, you're taking from them something, which is the shopping experience. There's, they like, shopping experience in Saudi Arabia is a major activity here, and online, when you go online and you take that away from them, what's next? So you want to make sure
for some females,
some females, but that's still a market niche. You're still looking at a market niche that still feel that way. And you want to make sure that this market niche can make you grow, because as I said, you can't make a product for everyone. It's for someone, and there is a niche for that. There is a niche where people still want to go out and have a shopping experience, and there is a certain niche where they want to buy convenience, and that's where that niche would be great for e-commerce.
I think security is the top priority.
If I could just ask you a couple points here. First of all, at the beginning of a new project, does it matter what previous experience you've got if you're starting a new project? Does it matter?
Of course it matters. It matters in terms, well, it depends. If you've done your research, if you've done enough research, research doesn't mean it doesn't take a day or two. Research could take 3 months, could take 6 months even. So if you've done your research, then go for it. And you've got the right mentors and advisors, you've got a great business plan that is accurate, then go for it. And you believe that there's a gap in the market and you can come and fill it, as long as there's a need. If there's a need and demand for your product, then go for it. Your experience, yes. I think what's important to have is persistence, and because you will fail. And in every failure there's success. So you will fall and you're going to get back up many times until you find the bright out of that hole, or the bright window.
You will fail. Now this is something that Waleed and I were discussing before the start of the program. We were saying that this is quite a
I hope they won't, but
high statistic actually that most businesses, most startup businesses fail within the first year or two.
Such a great perception and observation. Why? It's because of research. And again,
And lack of research?
lack
Is
of
that
research,
the reason?
marketing research, and branding. Have they branded the product right? You know, what does the product stand for? Is it like any other traditional product? What's so different about you? You know, like let's just speak about a very simple issue here. Like for example,
is it just, sorry, I just want to be devil's advocate here. Is it simply lack of branding, or is it possibly financing?
You see, it could be many things.
Yeah.
It could be many things. It could be a lack of financing. But that's what I said. You got to have a good business plan. A good business plan includes a financial summary. And if this is accurate and good, and you've got right investors and mentors around you that can lead the way for you, banks here, they're giving out loans here, open loans and grants as well. So go take an opportunity. Go try. I don't think they have tried. So persistence, passion, great, not product, but great brand are all very important qualities to have. And of course,
Research.
Yes, research, and of course, patience, which I'm still learning till now.
Yeah.
Patience is very important.
Exactly, Mr. Ayman. But let me go ahead to the point where I didn't say failure in 1 or 2 years. Also, what I said is that, for example, the expectation of the income, for example, I think in the first year or the second year, you don't accept, for example, to get 100% or to get your money back sometimes. So I think most of your aim in your first year in any successful business would be, I would like, for example, 80% or 70% of what I spent. I think that alone is success. But what should my expectation be, for example? Let me give you an easy digit, 100,000 or a million. How much, for example, the income, the expectation should be in the success business? When I say, yes, this is a success, should it be 20%, 30% my whole income? Or shall it be, for example,
Well, every industry
higher or less?
Every industry is different. What you're speaking about is the ROI, correct? The return on investment.
Exactly.
And I think the ROI is different in every single industry. It's differing. I can't. So you got for the advertising industry, it's about 35%. You should be expecting. So therefore, it varies from industry to industry, and that's what I said. It has to be. You have to have a good business plan, and a good business plan is very good observation. Is that you should not be having a very high expectation. It's just because they're fueled with passion. Oh, you know, I'm starting a great thing. It's a new day, and you know, I can do it, and let's go. But at the end of the day, you got to be realistic, and that's, for example, that's where my father takes me down a little. He tones me down, says, you know, switch your creativity a little bit off, and you know, go down and be more grounded.
Don't get too excited. So
Be more grounded, and let's face reality. And a lot of ideas that I've had did not work because coming to take form of reality, it wasn't a very viable business plan. Viable means that that is possible and plausible in the market, and many ideas should be tested. Montreal, for example, North America, Montreal is a great city where they've tested toothpastes, they've tested cleaning detergents. Why? Because it's multicultural. So they knew what they would have feedback from the Asians, the Caucasians, and etc. So therefore, they've done their marketing research, they've done their testing, and they knew which city to go to.
Okay. Now, Ayman, I really like the word you just used there, which was realistic. You've got to be realistic in these things. I think the thing when you're starting any new project is we all have to be realistic. And also, just we really have to, we're running out of time, I'm afraid.
No
so,
problem.
Before that, I just wanted to ask you one more question, which is, what are the main financial points that we should think of when we have to before we start a new project?
Well, first thing you want to take into consideration is expenses and costs. What are the costs of goods? What are the expenses, the variable expenses, the fixed costs, etc., that will be incurred to launch this new product or service at the market? So this is one thing you really want to take into consideration, and always expect about 15 to 25% higher expenses than expected, just to be secure and to make sure it's safe. And second, you want to make sure the demand. How many products are you going to sell per day, or the service? How many leads will you be having per month? So you really want to have an expectation of your sales strategy in order to know the income, how your income balance sheet will look like. Exactly. And I think this is very important.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
With this, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us this morning, Mr.
Ayman.
Ayman.
Yeah,
great,
you.
very informative. I think you've.
I hope it was informative and
definitely,
and a little academic.
Definitely. So thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ayman al Masri, who's the Chief Executive Officer. Thanks so much, and now we'll be moving on to a report. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.